I have time traveled and it's not what you imagine it to be part 2. I smiled but wasn't sure why. The others seemed to snort a little in amusement. The tensions in the room seemed to release. Now, I know it sounds, crazy. I've heard it all before. I'm not asking you to believe in me. I'm asking you to just sit in this room, observe, and tell me what happens. We all nodded in agreement. A couple of okays filled the air. The doctor carried on. All right, this is how it'll work. I'm going to drive up to the control center. It's just about 5 minutes up the mountain. I have a couple of colleagues there as well. From there, I will flip the switch in layman's terms. When Dr. Olson began his next sentence, he leaned forward and his face took on a very stern, angry father quality. Do not leave this room. After I walk out, do not leave. Do not leave until I come back down the mountain, walk back inside this room, and tell you that you can leave. I have done this experiment before, but not on humans. I know it works. I know it's safe. I can promise you, this is safe. I cannot promise your safety though, if you leave the house. I remember the air shifting to an uneasy feel. Are you sure this safe? What have you tested it on? What's it gonna feel like? A scrawny blonde guy said, who couldn't have been older than 21. The doctor continued, I know it is safe. No animal I have used has been affected by this. I've used rats and progressed up to dogs. No bruises, no cuts, no change in behavior. And to be honest with you all, I don't know what you should expect. I'm not sure if it feels like a tingle, a sting, a pinch, or anything else. This is the first human trial, which is why you need to pay attention to any sensation you feel. Wait, okay, if we are actually about to time travel, where or when are we traveling to? I asked. You will be launching 3 hours into the future. Once activated at the control site, this building will disappear. My team and I will be on standby for 3 hours, then, poof, the house is back with all of you in it, 3 hours into the future. A long silence followed. I'm skeptic of just about anything, but something about Dr. Olson's tone, his body language, the way he was explaining it, it was hard for me to doubt. He was dead serious. When it was clear there were no more questions, Dr. Olson looked at his watch, stood up, and cleared his throat. Alrighty then, it's 1:22 p.m. right now, so by the time I make it to the control site it should be just before 1:30. Warm-up only takes about 2 minutes, so we'll mark your projected arrival time at 4:30. Are there any other questions or concerns? No one spoke. Okay, I'll see you all in 3 hours. Or from your perspective, just a couple of minutes. The doctor winked, nodded, and closed the door behind him after adding, safe travels. The three of us stood from our chairs as we watched the doctor drive off. Then we all turned to one another, the tension, yet again, easing. Well, he sure knows how to make an entrance and an exit, the redhead said. No kidding, the blonde kid answered. Well, nice to meet you, fellow time travelers. We all chuckled a bit, that nervous sort of laughter. My name's Ryan. I'm Clark, I replied back with a handshake to follow. Emma, she said, with a smile that could make any man's, or woman's, head turn. We exchanged pleasantries, talked about our schooling and how we were selected. Emma was the first to ask what we were all thinking. So, what's the chance this is legit? Don't get me wrong, I would love to be the world's first time traveler, but I feel like this is going to end in a dud, or we are just being pranked. Follow for part 3.